we're in the midst of subdividing that property because on the corner of White Street and Broad Street, that is our future parking deck. So they wanted to make sure that parking deck would not interfere with the grant. So we had to subdivide that. They also came back and wanted us to subdivide where the home is on that property. And then they had to get the historic commission involved as well because required to do. That kind of set us back a little. But it looks like that we will receive that grant the first of January 2025 is when they're thinking that we're going to start um, getting the funding from that grant so that we can go ahead and get started. So just a little setback. No,
No.
no, no. So there's three parts of the phases. Councilman Brown, did you want to answer that or did you want to answer the phases?
No, you can.
Okay. There's three phases to this grant. One is the walking trail in the back of the home. The second phase is the playground that will be in the front part of the property. And the third phase is the amphitheater that's right behind that home. So all of it will be very passive. We wanted to keep the natural character of that property, especially since there's so many homes that surround that area. We didn't. It's such a beautiful piece of property. We do not want to take that away from it. So we want to continue to keep it a very passive piece of property. So it's going to be about a 3 year project, but we hope to get started on those trails the first of next year. Yes, so it's adjacent. That's the piece of property that we just bought not too long ago, give or take a little, 17 acres. That is, and that was very valuable to that mulberry property because it is adjacent. And so mayor and council want to keep it public park. It will be a part of that. We just don't have the footprint down pat yet, the concept plan. That is something that they will work on. They're just not in a hurry to do it because they needed to finish that first section first. So
Rodney,
keep the what?
keep the what? What did he call it? Oh, the shack. Gina, oh, hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
Gina, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely.
So that's been a great discussion. We've had construction people look at it, three different people and all that, and it will take an awful lot of money to rehab that house. So we've been debating what to do about that. It is not an obligation to keep it there in that location. We have reached out to the county actually, and I need to follow up with that because they have, I don't know if you're familiar with Hurricane Shoals Park. They have a historic sort of village there, and it would be interesting if they would be interested in taking that. Yes, sir.
Yes. Well, we
I did
didn't.
not. I did not. The original piece of the house is actually quite historic. There were add-ons in the 1960s, but the original structure itself is actually got some really neat structure to it, and the hardware and the fireplaces and all that. And I would love to see it preserved. I just don't think it's in our budget to do it.
I'll go. So there's two, and you know, hold on a second. Chime in when y'all either one of you want to. So one of them was discussed on 53. There's an issue with that. Obviously, we've got the depot right here, right along 53. So that side of the road would not work for a golf cart path. This side of the road has got the water tower. That's not going to work either. So that was thought number one. The second one is behind what would be like on White Street, coming up White Street from, if you will, like Peachtree Street. There's already a path that was put in there by Alma Farms, which is the property over there, the new development over there. And the rest of it has to get finished when the developers develop their piece of land, and it would finish all the way up to White Street. That will be golf cart path, life path, what same thing. So yes, was discussions of two, but the one on 53, there's just no way to do one on 53. It would be also extremely dangerous. Yeah, I have the same question because it's up to the developer when he's developing his property. And that would be the property that is lying next to the hardware store and would go from 53, from front to back, it would go from 53 all the way to White Street. Um, I have not got an update on his time frame. Do you have an update on his time frame?
I do not have an update. I do know that, and we're gonna probably just gather our information, we can all talk about amongst this, but we do have an ordinance on the table, if you rezone something and you sit on it for several years, you're gonna have a time limit. That's something that the mayor and council is working on right now, so that, we can better prepare for things like that, and we know the timeline. Right now, that's a concern that we're having, is that people want to rezone, developers want to rezone, or the property owners want to rezone, and they sit on it for 10 years. Well, that kind of hurts our planning, and this is a great example
Mm-hmm.
of something that is a big concern for us, because we can't keep those life paths going without the developers developing. This would be behind the hardware store. So if you're at Alma, that is something, they have, that is, um, well,
And townhouse.
it's multi-use,
Mm-hmm.
but they have not brought us a concept plan yet. Officially, so we're not really exactly sure. We know that they wanted to bring apartments and then some commercial as well on that property. So, but we don't know exactly.
Is it zoned for mixed use?
Yes, it is. So we're not really sure yet. But that is another property that was rezoned, I think 3 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and they have not brought us a concept plan yet. So
Well, it's already been approved for mixed use. So,
yes, but it has to, like the mayor said, it's mixed use, so it has to be a little everything. They can't come in and say, you know what, I changed my mind. I was going to do 200 apartments. Now I think I'm going to do 1,000 apartments. If they want to change what the rezoning is, the conditions, then they do have to come back before mayor and council if they want to do all residential.
yeah. Yeah. And they haven't done that, just so you know. And that was a concern of the community, including this team right here before we were, pardon me, before we even were even elected officials. Um, but the mayor and council at the time approved it, and mixed use. So it would be apartments. No, legally we cannot do that.
We can't change what the land was zoned. That land was staying zoned what it was until somebody comes back in. So either one, fulfill that, what it was zoned, or number two, request for rezoning.
Turn on
That's
your
the
mic.
zone part. That's the zone part. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So can you just clarify mixed use, you said apartment and mixed use, so it can't be 100% residential, it's mixed, is what we're saying.
Some commercial in there as well. Excuse me. But again, as Jennifer said, we don't have a concept plan yet, so, and as Councilmember Dave Brown said, if they want all apartments, they would have to come back for another variance. We could, yes. Yes.
That's what I heard on the corner of 53 and, what's that, 332, that's probably 1.4 million, I believe, a house sitting there,
Berkshire Home?
supposed to be 7 acres, and that's what they wanted to do initially, put apartments there.
And it was vetoed by
We
this
voted.
team. Oh, somebody over here have a question? Oh,
it's
it was a
agreeing.
thumbs up.
Okay.
You, did you say you lived on 332? Oh, no, that's a little different. The public notice signs are, annexation notices, which we actually had planning and zoning meeting last night about that. Excuse me. And they're just wanting that corner little piece of property to be annexed back into the city, because it's kind of an island there right now, and it really will connect with what, we'll call the Providence property or the Cell property. So, it was like 0.2 acres.
It was a very small
Yeah,
pie.
it's just like a piece of pie. I love this question. So that's a state route. Guess who makes decisions about that? GDOT. However, this team has been very vocal with GDOT. And actually, I would say they've been fairly responsive to us. We do have, you probably heard that this council approved to go forward with T-Splosh, to have it on the bill, on the ballot. Thank you. Sorry, I got a bill today, so I'm like, I was a little shocked at the bills. Anyway, on the ballot in November. So if the community, if the Jackson County votes yes for the T-Splosh, then that is something, do we have that on our list at all? To work with GDOT on 332? I think we, in some ways we do.
We have.
Yeah.
We have talked to them about doing a couple things down, on 332.
However, for you, by the way, could I ask your name? Okay, nice to meet you. I'm a little worried also about traffic on 332 and anybody walking, so we would need easements, from the housing area. For, yeah. Really? Yeah, yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, he's next month. It turns into gold, doesn't it? Mhm. You want to take that?
Yes. So GDOT had a grant that came out a couple of years ago. We were actually approved for the grant. However, it was just to help us fund the design of the sidewalks. And so what our vision was is to connect Brazelton sidewalks all the way down to the new Publix on both sides. However, um, it's about a 8 to 9 year project. It was millions of dollars, and we had no foreseen grant that could cover help us offset that cost. So after we had a retreat in the spring, mayor and council, along with the staff, decided to have, we needed to hold that off. Um, so we are looking at different ways to put multipass on both sides. We are actually working with the Hall County Gainesville Metropolitan Group organization, planning organization group. Um, they have been amazing to work with, and they are going to help us find an engineer that can work with us to have a master plan, to have some different things, some different to get us off of 53, whether that be little bypass boulevards or it might be sidewalks. We should start that in 2025. And with that, we're hoping that we'll get a great perspective of what the city needs for transportation. My biggest thing that I have brought to the mayor and council is, as you mentioned, 53 is a cluster. We all know that. I live in downtown Brazelton. I live 2 miles from here, and it can sometimes take me 20 minutes to get home. So, what are ways that we can, instead of getting in our car, what are ways that we can walk, bicycle, cart? What are other ways that we can get from point A to point B? And so so we're looking at the overall picture and trying to see what we can do. Again, our goal is to get people off of 53 and make this a very walkable destination. Yes. Yeah. Yes. We're going to get creative. It just, in government, it just takes time. Planning takes time. One thing that we do not want to do as a city is we don't want to make permanent decisions that are going to affect us long term that are not good decisions. We can't be quick. If we're quick, then we can easily make mistakes that are permanent, and we do not need that in the city. So, Houston is one of the fastest growing cities in Jackson County, as we all know. When I started working here, it was always a joke that we're a little Mayberry, and we kind of were. It's the dynamics are so different now, and I've I've lived here all my life, and seeing the change is amazing. Uh, some are good, some are not. And I do believe that's because some decisions were made very quickly. And so we've got to be just so careful all the decisions that we make because they are permanent decisions for our grandkids and their kids. And we just need to be very careful. So any input that y'all can give us of where you I wish every road had curbs. I wish every road had sidewalks. I wish every road had bike paths. But those are things that are going to come, hopefully. But the funding mechanism of it is a big decision maker too.
Can you get the developers to help to fund this before they develop?
That is incorporated. Yes.
I look at the houses that get built around here on Bell, I thought, it seems like me, like they could have paid for stormwater drainage plan right there. I don't know if there is a stormwater drainage plan to go there. I was there, I had $7,000 to keep my property flooded again, and for all the time people say they were here behind the cafe and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and all that water cut right across the street, and that's where they cut the time, so I put in drainage pipes and everything else. I did my own stormwater plan.
Where do you live? What street?
My legal address is 90 Bell Avenue.
Oh,
It faces White Street
White Street.
and
Walnut.
Walnut.
yeah.
Mm.
So he's right next to I'm right next door. Yeah, he's on the corner.
Do y'all
Oh.
share the same driveway, right?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Yeah. So we share the same water that comes floods our houses every time it rains.
Right.
Have we listened to that?
So every development has to be engineered and has some kind of drainage issue or fix the drainage issue.
What we're talking about is the development here has already been done. We were hoping
Oh, after. Oh, I
they
see.
should have done something to prevent all that water. All it does is all that concrete over there in the parking lot, all that over there, starts probably needs to phase it there, but something should have been done. The whole water that comes down, comes up.
Are you talking about
Behind Mr. Cafe right
huh?
here. Behind Mr. Cafe.
Oh, the
There we
commercial.
are.
The commercial. Okay.
Property.
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree with
It used
that.
to be gravel,
Yeah.
water went in.
Yeah.
Now, hey, apparently wherever you have gravel, you can pay, you don't even have to have a permit, so I understand.
He did have a permit.
Do you have a permit to put the pavement in?
Mm-hmm.
And y'all didn't talk to us about that?
That would go through the permit department. I look at them as the professionals that make those decisions. But I do know that they have drainage there in the parking lot.
They have a drain.
In the center. Mm-hmm.
You know, that doesn't catch anything when it gets down to 53. It doesn't catch any water from there down.
Well, I will look into that.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
I have a note too, so we'll
And that kind of goes back to Jennifer's earlier point about the actions that we make now affect later. And so when those actions were made, they're affecting you now. And right now, the current council, mayor, and staff, we've implemented, like on development, when things come in, there's tap fees, there's impact fees to the city. So that kind of stuff is being looked at from this point forward. So it's a great suggestion. I wish we were here 10 years ago, could have incorporated that in. But that is being looked at, and as those things come up, like if you go to some of the new subdivisions that are going right now, you're gonna see curbs, you're gonna see sidewalks and all that. And they're paying for that. We're not, the taxpayers aren't. As we increase the sewage, the water and so forth, they're contributing to that. Something you've already built, you shouldn't have to pay for again. They're gonna contribute to that, to increase it and modify it for the future. But some of that stuff that was done in the past is exactly what Jennifer was talking about. It was quick decisions, and right now, we've got to come back and fix it later.
Got, the water line that's just been put in, all the way down White,
Mhm.
just about all the way down White Street. Up the west,
Mhm.
I guess they, I don't know who permits the water line, they have to go in, because you got all these additional houses going in, and then they cross under 53, and they go all the way down. And it seems like they could do that, dig all that up, then you could just lay a pathway right on top of what they did, as a golf cart path or a sidewalk or a bike path or anything else. And then from West Jefferson, straight down 53 to that, what used to be the elementary school down there, is already, a golf cart path in the mud.
Yeah.
People use it. And that, to me, I mean, I'm having to do very much at all. The way they run around here and with these, small bulldozers and stuff, I mean, somebody just went down on the side of the road, they could at least flatten it out and lay some gravel on top, and then,
You could, but some of those homeowners would get awful mad at us
no. This is probably
on the car wash.
the side of the road, no homeowners there,
Yep.
but if they just put gravel, that's something you can always take away very easily.
Yeah, and on 53, again, to the point, that's not ours in terms of the city. That's,
The state route,
it's a state route.
so that right of way is, GDOT.
Even to the point, like the gentleman said about reducing the speed. The back streets and stuff that belong to our city, we can go in there and do a study and say, this is what we need to do. 53, we can't even put a stop sign on it.
So you have a relationship with VDOT, who gave the people permission to put all these water lines in?
Well, that's on our street.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now the, we had
They
to,
went across the street,
that's right,
went under and straight through the front of the church, all the way down to the, tower, to the firehouse, actually.
yeah, so we had to get easement from the property owners on their property. So, but the property across the street, the right of way, they were not in the right of way. They went past the right of way into the property owner's, land, like Lawson Funeral Home. We had to go past the right of way and get, a permission from him to put that line in on his property. But now, if we, like you're saying, that little dirt area, we would have, that is in the right of way, and we'd have to get, GDOT's permission to do that. But I think that's a great idea. It wouldn't.
If I had access to a little, one of these little things that they're running around on the street here, I could do it.
We're gonna, I'm gonna give you an application before you leave.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
That would be great. That would be great.
I mean, moving dirt is not hard at all.
Well, how about, you wanna borrow one of those big ones that Kroger's got sitting over there on the corner?
Doesn't all the keys,
Yeah, that's right.
Might be a little big.
Have you ever checked them at night to see if the keys are in them? I'm just curious. It'd be great to wake up tomorrow and have it all done.
I thought about jumping over there and looking, but it's a little muddy.
Yeah, oh, that's true. Still a little muddy. You had a question, I believe. Could you speak up a little bit, just in, 'cause of, anybody have any comments to that?
we're gonna let our finance director, that is, her expertise.
Yeah, definitely not my expertise, but I think what most people don't realize is that $4,000 that you may pay, the city doesn't collect that. So the majority of your taxes paid are paid to the county. for your schools, your county taxes, we only collect a small percentage. For most people, that's, you know, a couple $100, maybe up to $1,000. Our millage rate is 2.954. So out of all that money you pay, that little bitty portion comes to us. So in the grand scheme of things, like this past, or I guess the current year we're on, out of everybody in the city that pays taxes to the county, only $1 million of that will come back to the city. And you're talking, the county probably collects tens of, you know, tens of millions of dollars to go towards their stuff. So we're a very small percentage of that.
Mm-mm.
No, so each city sets their own millage rate. Like Browson, they don't have a millage rate. They don't do property taxes. Um, yeah. Trade one for the
And
other,
warehouses. I'm sorry.
but no, you go
They
ahead.
do tickets and warehouses and
Yeah.
hotels and, yeah.
So, here's the millage rate for cities in Jackson. I just want to give you a couple of quotes here. Arcade, they do not have a millage rate. Brazelton, as you just stated, does not. Commerce, theirs is at 4.360. Hushins, as Tiffany said, is 2.954. Jefferson's is 4.522. And Maysville has, I don't know if you've all been to Maysville, but if you blink, you're going to miss the city, miss it. They're 0.264. So we're actually on the low end of what the county is, well, I'm sorry, what the county cities are doing. And also, I think the letter that you probably got, which was, we all got a couple months back, that is just an estimate. It always is not, almost always, I don't want to say always and then have it be true, but almost always never what your real taxes are. Because now we go into negotiations, they look at the tax digest, and then the school's going to be lowering their M&O rate, so we get those October, right? Is it October? October. Yeah, go ahead. Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
You want to say something? Yes. Do we have anybody on YouTube? I think so. Probably you. Mm. But nothing in the comment section.
You have a question?
I, I haven't seen you got out of today. Mhm. So I will, what does that mean immediate? Is that like next week, tomorrow? Oh, good.
That's right.
Okay, you guys, we just got a text message from somebody who's online watching. They cannot hear anything y'all are saying. So if you remember at the beginning, I asked you to come up here so that the people at home watching could also hear you. So if you don't mind.
Thank you.
Is it, did you check it? Is it working?
Oh, no.
Goodbye. That's what happened last night also. As soon as like all this starts working, that stops. Somebody had their hand up, or a
Oh.
couple people did, I think.
Can you hear me?
So for those at home, the question was, is the old school part of Houston? The answer to that is only the part of the soccer field is part of Houston. The rest, actually, some of it's county, some of it's Brazelton. Uh, I hope you all don't mind. I went to the BOC meeting, which was last Monday. Okay, let me finish.
Testing.
Oh, great.
Any update on the old school? Any progress with it? Any projects with it that are going on?
So the desire of Brazelton is to make that a charter school. Are you aware? Hopefully, you're all aware of that.
We've heard about that. But
Okay.
Just rumors.
It's
Nothing.
true that they would like a charter school there. The front part of the park or the soccer field actually is cushion, and then they have the back, and then the county has a portion of it, which would be the gym. Last Monday at the BOC, which is Board of Commissioners meeting, it was on the agenda to vote, one, to annex that property into the city of Brazelton, not our piece, but the county's piece, and then also to approve for a charter school. That was postponed uh, until next month. Um, so there's been no movement on there yet. There is an IGA, which is intergovernmental agreement that would um, be between Brazelton, City of Houston, and the county, which we have reviewed and have made our comments back, and we have got a little bit of information back, but not quite enough yet. So it's in the works for Brazelton. I don't know as of anything more than that.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Neighbors and all visitors ask me what's going on with the school, man.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
let them know.
As I've stated before, and our council has stated before, uh, Dr. Sterling over here has also stated before, I'm concerned about the traffic on 53 when that school opens, and I think everybody should be.
That was one of the main reasons.
Yeah.
How many cars can we get more?
Just a little side note, are you aware that there's a police officer who stands right in the middle of 53 directing traffic in the morning? to the school?
Yes, and I feel bad for him in
Pardon?
all ways. That guy's enduring so much. God
Yes.
bless him, and
I'm also, same thing, I'm in fear for him,
hey,
or her.
right.
Yeah. So with additional traffic, anyway, I mean, I think it's a concern, it's a very valid concern, so hopefully that will, be addressed. Tina, Dr. Sterling, did you want to make any more comments about that? Oh, hi, JJ. When did you come in?
Hey, Madam Mayor. I
Hey.
snuck in about 5 minutes
Oh,
ago.
sorry, I didn't even see
That's
you.
okay.
Yes,
Can I ask a question?
yes, please.
The question is about the city population. Looking at old records, in the 1,000 was 1,000, and now we're over 4,000. With the number of large developments coming in, do we have any rough estimate of what the population will look like in 5 or 10 years? And are a lot of the people that are developing or anyone really aware of the
We
rapiding?
do.
I know people are generally aware of the rapid.
Yes, we do, and if you recall, right in January, when all of us were seated, one of the projects that I really wanted to, invest in was capital improvements, and that was assigned to Councilmember Dave Brown. So I know the answer, but I'm gonna defer to Dave, because that's his project. Dave?
Thank you. Yes, we are working on a 5 and 10-year plan, and right now, it's funny you asked the question because the mayor and I was talking today on asking questions, and sometimes it's like, do you really want to know the answer? And where we're at right now is when we look at the year 2030, we're going to be right around 14,000 people. Right now, we're the fastest growing county in the nation, fourth fastest, and Houston is the fastest city in this county. So we're soaring up there. We have planned for the water and the sewer, so we're in fairly good shape there. When you look at 2035, we're hovering around the 16,000 number. So that's what we're planning at right now, and that is actual houses and townhomes and apartments and condominiums that have been already pre-approved and zoned. So it's not. We hope that's what it's going to be.
Thank you for your information.
Is there any plan to annex any property?
We get phone calls every day. People want to come to Houston. That's really all I can say at this time.
Do you have any estimates on the per square mile of Jackson County and Houston as compared to, say, like Gwinnett County, which I've heard for years and years and years, fastest growing county, in the whole country?
I've not done comparisons to other counties. I've just basically been working on what our capacity will be in this city and what we need to support the city and the growth, but I've not compared it to others yet.
I mean, you said it was the fastest growing county in the nation?
Fourth fastest in the nation. That happened to come from, there's a gentleman that we worked with a while back. You guys may have met him. His name was Mark Koyman. He does all kind of studies on flows of what businesses are going to do, populations, what they're going to do, and so forth. And he shared that information with us.
The top 3 fastest growing counties in the nation are in South Texas, close to the border. Jackson County is 4th, and Dawson County is 5th. So that we are the fastest growing one in the state in the southeast.
More questions? I do have some in text messages, so I'll go ahead and read them so everybody could hear. Okay, here's the first question. When will the water tower officially be online? So if those of you who are also interested in that, if you look at the booster pump is that over there? The third one down, winter of 2024, which really means the end of 2024. So, there's the answer to that one. The next question, is there any updates on districts? My answer is no, there's no updates on districts. We have not discussed that on this council. Anybody want to add anything to that? No? And then parklands, which I believe we kind of talked about already.
I need to write an RFP for Oak Street, so if you know some landscape architects that, are interested in that, I'll be putting a request for proposal out there, working with the city manager. I gotta get moving on that, because that would be a really nice passive space for the city too, and, hopefully not a big budget to do it, so.
If you need anything plowed, I guess you're gonna be busy plowing over here.
We need the,
We like that.
we need a stream bank cleared. Unfortunately, there's a fair amount of poison ivy on it, so.
Oh, well, there's your guy. Can we get your name, number?
Can I ask you a question, sir? I know your house is up for sale, which is a beautiful home that has also been a bed and breakfast. Is that something? Have y'all sold the house? I heard rumor was.
Thank you, Ty.
No, we haven't. We haven't. We had a restaurant owner come through with his, what do you call it? People that handle money.
Investor?
Not investor,
Realtor?
but,
Realtor?
finance
Okay.
person. And they figured out that, or she told him that she'd already planned all of the upgrades and everything they need to do and could open the doors and have this fantastic restaurant there. But he brought his wife the next day and she vetoed the whole thing.
Oh, no.
So we haven't had anything since then. And, our current contract is going to expire middle of September. And at that point in time, we're just going to live there until whenever.
Thank you.
If you know anybody, send them my way.
Are you still doing free tours?
You need to talk to my wife about that.
Well, if they do open up their home, it's beautiful at Christmas time and at Halloween.
Exactly,
And they
I
also
know.
do the fall festival, right?
They are. I mean, they do participate for sure. But I don't know if y'all open it up during Fall Festival.
We did once, and
Oh,
it
once.
just because we're not a business, it really didn't do anything for us.
Mm.
So I mean, if we were a business, it'd be different. So yeah, I mean, the thing of it is, my wife just occasionally will take people, like during Halloween especially, or Christmas, and take them through. But
I've done a great job to the house.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
it's a lot of work.
I bet.
Okay, so if there's no more questions, I would like to ask you, what topics would you like us to book for you in the future? As questioned earlier about Matt Rupel, next month is going to be, I really hope we pack this room for him. He will talk about what he's doing to the garden, which is AKA Larry's Garage, and also the Pasta Masters restaurant that he's putting in next door. And as this gentleman said, and I'm sorry, I don't know your name, whatever Matt Rupel touches turns to gold. So Pasta Masters, and he'll have big charts of what the restaurant is going to look like inside, but they'll actually be making it on site there. And I'll let him tell you the rest of it because it's really his glory. So. Thank you, Ty.
I saw some
So glad you're here, Ty.
I saw some renderings of what might, and I guess they'll talk about that next week or next month. But there's some adjacent property, I guess, that it would be part of that too. How much does the city own? Does the city own how much to the left of Larry's Garage is the city owns?
So you know that gravel parking lot or a gravel, well, gravel area,
Right.
that, we own that,
Right,
which is right next to Mulberry Park.
okay.
And that's it. And well, of course, Mulberry Park and Blankenship property, but that's it right there.
It's Larry's Garage, but not much more past that.
You mean down White Street, for
Yes.
example, like the house behind it?
Yes.
No, we do not own that. That house behind it is not.
No, I mean, the building itself, though, goes almost to 53.
Yes.
And
Oh,
then it comes
100%
all the
does.
way back over to White Street.
Yes.
Correct.
So all of that is owned by whoever owns that
The
building.
city,
City.
Y'all own it.
yes.
Y'all
You
own
own
it.
it. Who said that? Pam, did you say that?
That's
Becky
right.
said it?
I would like to know,
It's on.
I would like to know if we could possibly get some updates from GDOT on any transportation, anything to improve transportation. And there was rumor, I don't know back when, that was possibly going to be a Houston bypass. Has anyone ever talked about that, or?
Oh, yes. So, this is what I'll do. As Jennifer mentioned earlier, we've been working with the Gainesville, Hall County Metropolitan Planning Organization. We also call it MPO for short. We actually had a meeting, there this week. Jennifer and I attended. And in, August, I think it's the 13th or the 12th, our transportation plan is going before approval to the board. Once it's approved, we can invite Joseph and Michael from MPO out to here, and they could talk about also in that plan is the 60 bypass or the Houston, Brazelton bypass, the 60 expansion. We could do that, but it would be later in the year. But we could definitely do that. I think they'd come out and do that. I'd love for one of you to ask Dr. Sterling a question. Something.
Debbie, when we did the GDOT meeting here, the last time, they were gonna come up with the report that was gonna have all that information that you just talked about. Do you know if they finalized that plan? 'Cause they were, in that meeting, they were acting like they were pretty close to having that information. I know that it's been several months, but are they giving us any sort of timeline on when they're gonna have that report? 'Cause I know that's gonna affect a lot of stuff in Gainesville with
Yeah.
the inland port stuff and Highway 60 and overpasses and all that, but
There's a lot of really interesting stuff that's going on through this whole plan. And they did send out the report, but not one person that they sent it to can open it. There's a problem with the link in there, and it was actually brought up, that was only yesterday?
Yeah.
Good Lord, yesterday. And so they're working on it, and they'll get us all. So it's out, we just can't see it. We can't open it. Maybe that was their plan all along. I don't know.
thank you for the update.
Yeah, you're welcome. So other than GDOT or updates on transportation, what else would you like us to book for you? Or have here information for you? Anything you could think of? Ty, get busy.
Any businesses that we would like to come here, like anything in particular? You mentioned restaurants here and there. We have two more pasta places down the road in Braselton. But is there like particular businesses that we want to focus to attract to this area? Like particular kind, like I'm not necessarily talking about like golf, disc golf or anything like that, but just like smaller companies that would spice up the city, I guess.
I love this question also.
Definitely yours.
Yeah. I am huge on surveys, and hopefully you've all seen the survey on this. This is the Kroger site survey. What do you want to see? I mean,
That's part of the reason I'm asking.
Yeah.
They were proposing a truck park spot right there.
Oh, that's 124 Maddox Road. That would be in Brazelton.
Okay, all right, sorry. So I'm so
No,
sorry.
no, don't be. But we do have issues with that too, just so you know. And I'll get to that in just a moment, because that was the other reason we went to the BOC meeting last Monday. But I don't know if you've seen the survey. I'm closing it tonight, so I'm hoping that if you haven't, you'll get there today. What do you want to see at the Kroger site? And right now, the last I checked, we had 487 responses. How about that? Love to make 500, of course. And in there, it's exactly what kind of restaurants. Because obviously, Kroger wants restaurants we're going to support so that they'll stay in business. So this information is going to be passed to Kroger. They happened to be in the office here yesterday, and I told them that we were doing the survey, and that they were very anxious to come in and see the results. Oh, Ty, you're slipping. Go ahead, Pam.
Are you gonna pass the results of the survey on to us?
100% in the August 8th City Council meeting. Yes.
The question was, is this an online survey that you have out there?
It is on Facebook. Do you do Facebook? So it's on the Houston Neighborhood Watch Facebook page. It's on the Houston Mayor Updates Facebook page. Anywhere else that you put it? Anybody? I'm sure they've shared it. Oh, it's also on, what is the Adams Facebook page?
Oh, Houston Community.
Houston Community Facebook page.
I never knew there was anything like that. So, I mean, naturally, if there's, what you say, 4,000 people living here now, and you got 480 people, there's a lot of folks like me. There's no anything about it. I mean, I was glad to on there.
Sir,
She just said it's open tonight, so we
Yeah.
can help you get on Facebook and get that filled out. As a
Sir, I'll
suggestion.
be happy to message it to you directly on Facebook. I'll make sure I get your name after the meeting, and I'll send that over to you.
Gina's question is, who runs the Houston events page? No, that's ours.
I'm sorry.
Do you know if it's on there? Tonight? I'll leave it open then a couple more days. Absolutely. I'll leave it open through the weekend. Do you mind if I address this gentleman's comment before about the truck thing at 124 in Maddox Road? So Councilmember Dave and I went to the BOC meeting, as I stated earlier, last Monday. We reached out to Chief Hill and Chief Stevens, Fire and Police, to ask them if they had any concerns about this. I mean, it's not in our city, but we're concerned about traffic again, more traffic coming down West Jefferson. Chief Hill wrote what he would like to see with Maddox Road. Dr. Sterling, you'll be very happy about this. And West Jefferson, to have it no, let me see if I'm saying it right, no truck through traffic, is that how you say it? No through truck traffic on both roads. So that has been submitted to the county. We don't want big trucks going in front of our elementary school. I don't. I'm sure you all don't. And Dr. Sterling, who lives on that side of town, she doesn't want any big trucks on that road either. Correct? Is that right? Yeah. Oh, good. There you go. So that will be in August. That will be at the BOC meeting in Jefferson. We can hear you up here. We can hear you.
Do y'all have any renderings on the Kroger as far as elevations, what it looks like?
Yeah, exactly. It was, we also had some renderings because we voted, on the plat, right? June, right? Was it June that we voted on that? So it'll be online in our minutes. Um, do, do, no, not great renderings, no, but we do have elevation and stuff like that. It's actually in our wall inside our city hall building.
When we get done, do y'all wanna take a tour and look at them? Okay.
Oh, there
We'll-
you go.
And we'll let you out the city hall way. We have them tagged on our wall. So going down the hallway. So it's the rendering for the Kroger building. That's on our wall right now. It's the elevation. Yeah, it doesn't have partials on it, if that's what you're asking. And there are partials, but we don't know what those are gonna be yet. And that's why the mayor is, been a huge help to Kroger, to let her know what y'all want. And she's been very vocal about that.
All right, last question for me anyway. Do you guys know what's going, in front of the, Publix there? There's one flattened out area right above there. They said that we're gonna put a, like a McDonald's or something. Is that what's going in? You couldn't persuade them to do Chick-fil-A, huh?
They didn't ask us.
Mayor, I have put the, survey on the events page.
Oh, great, thank you. So the survey is now also on the Houston Events Facebook page. So there's 4 places you can go find it. Or JJ offered to email it to you or text it to you. Other than GDOT for future topics, and Matt Rupel will be here next month. The month after that is mental health awareness. That one's going to be a very interesting one as well. Judge Ben Green will be here. He will talk about why he got involved with mental health awareness, and a lot of it has to do with the unfortunate death of one of our officers. It's impactful. I really suggest that you come and try to understand the signs. It was really impactful to me, which is why I invited them. Any other topics?
I do have one question for you and Dave. You said you were at the BOC meeting last Monday talking about the truck drop lot on Maddox Road. I know that was supposed to be on the BOC meeting last month, and then I went and it wasn't. So they had pulled it off. Was that voted on Monday, or is it going to be on next month's meeting?
It's going to be on next month. They had to do they didn't have to, but they decided to do a DRI, and they got the results in last Friday. And so because of that, they postponed it until August.
Just for people online that may not know DRI.
I knew you were going to ask me that. And of course, I'm old. I don't remember everything. It's called a regional impact.
Development regional impact. Sounds
Thank
right.
you.
So we'll.
Thank you. And I have not received it back from what did you say, Ty?
I said that sounds right, so we'll go with that.
Okay. And I haven't received it back from the county yet, but they told me they expected it last Friday, which will be on the August agenda.
That's not in the city of Houston, but I can tell you outside of Houston and in Brazelton and in unincorporated Jackson County, that's right around there, there's a lot of folks that do not want that.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going to vote on it next month. I highly suggest all of you guys to go to that. Fill the room.
I believe there's a big stop this sign kind of thing over there if you drive by that area. Okay. Council, any comments, questions? Do we get to question you now? Yes.
Madam Mayor, I'd just like to say thank you all for being here. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Okay, how about your tour? You ready for a tour? Okay.
Yes.
Hello. Hey, who are you? Oh.
I thought that was you. So I wanted